Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world, in the known universe. How you doing? I'm James Ellis. I'm here with The Next Step. That's right. I'm here to help you take that next step into AI, trying to make AI feel less daunting and scary and massive and, dare I say, expensive, because it doesn't have to be. So as a reminder, what this program is I take real world talent acquisition challenges, real world employer brand problems, and see how we can use off the shelf AI to make them better. This isn't a tool to sell you anything. I am not being sponsored. I do not have any sponsorships or any agreements with anybody whatsoever. What I'm going to do is focus on off the shelf AI tools, which for me tend to be Claude and ChatGPT, though who knows, we might get into Notebook. We might even get into Gemini. I've heard some good things I probably should take more seriously. So to find our actual real world challenge, we're going to go to the place I know best, podcast. And in this instance, we're going to look at a recent episode from Talk Talent to Me, Rob Stevens' podcast, which, by the way, fantastic podcast, fantastic interviewer. And he, in this episode from April 10th, talks to the director of TA and employer brand for Manscaped, Molly Mazinski. So this was a fun episode to kind of look at because I think Molly did a really good job identifying the challenges that she's seeing, what she's doing, all that stuff. And to me, that's just raw material for this sort of thing. Now, remember, I'm not here to tell Molly or Rob that they're doing something wrong. Not even close. What I'm trying to say is, if Molly has this challenge, I'm guessing a lot of other people have this challenge, and there's a lot of ways to solve it. And here's another different way to use AI to solve those challenges. Remember, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, wherever you find it. You know, this is more interesting on YouTube, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. Hey, I'm a big fan of YouTube podcasts lately, but I also know the value of pure audio. Finally, before we dive right into it, two things. I'm having this podcast drops on Monday. This class will be on Tuesday. I'm doing a talent strategy class, a 30-minute talent strategy class. It's 100% free. All you got to do is go to choosable.work/strategy. That's choosable.work/strategy. Sign up. If you can't make it, I'll send you the video, send you the recording. It is 30 minutes long. It is power-packed with how to see talent strategy very, very clearly so you can actually use it and not just say, oh, to your boss, yeah, I have talent strategy. It's cool. Yay, we're going to hire more people. Because that's not what a talent strategy is. And it turns out when you nail your talent strategy, your work gets a little easier. And I think that should be appealing. Also, go listen to back episodes and tell a friend, share them around, let people know. Podcasts are really weird in that they don't market themselves very well. They're very hard to share. They're very hard to spread around. I need you to actively say nice things on LinkedIn if this is useful, or to send this kind of episode to a partner, a comrade, a recruiter or leader in arms to say, hey, this might be helpful. I'd really appreciate that. All right, so let's get into the heart of the matter. So what I do in this process, if this is your first episode, first time hearing me, is I scrape the transcript of the episode. By the way, I use a really simple transcription tool. It's not even Otter. It's a free tool in which Apple Podcasts have a transcript in it, though that's very hard to access, but this tool actually scrapes it out for free. It's super easy. It takes 2 seconds. So I use that tool. I grab the transcript and I dump it, in this case, in Claude, and I say, hey, Claude, review this transcript and identify up to 5 stated challenges and up to 5 inferred challenges. And Claude grinds on this stuff. And Claude came up with a bunch of ideas, and one of them was like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. So I'm going to, where did I put it? Hey, Claude, where are you? I have so many tabs. Okay. This is a great one because it's not rare at all. And I'm going to read it word for word. It's combating the order taker perception of recruiters. Now, the quote is, part of our role is to keep our finger on the pulse of candidate motivators. If we were just to write down those top 3 needs and then run with it, we're missing all that extra context. Okay. The order taker syndrome is for reals, kids. I don't have to tell you that. Some of you are living it every single day. You're living that Vita terrified. I know. I'm trying to manage screens and talk to you at the same time. So here's what I did. I thought, I'm a big fan that every recruiter is truly a consultant, a talent consultant. They are a talent expert. They've just been put in this box based on ATS and process and historical expertise and historical expectations of a recruiter does this. A recruiter says, hey, hiring manager, what do you want? Do you want fries with that? Fantastic. I'm going to go off and do it. And that might have made a lot of sense 40 years ago when the job was project manager and every project manager was the same, and every job was salesperson, every salesperson was kind of the same, or the job was whatever, and everybody kind of knew what those jobs are. Right now, I have no idea what 95% of most jobs are. And not because I'm old and dumb, but because they're so insanely specialized. It doesn't even have to be in a science space. It doesn't have to be in a tech space. There are so many jobs I look at and I go, what does that person do? I have no clue. Even in the trades, I know what an electrician is and I know what a pipe fitter is, but there's some of these roles I'm like, what the heck is that role? We have gotten so insanely specialized to our benefit, to be certain, but not to a recruiter's benefit, because now they can't be experts on all those things. We can't just assume they know what all these roles do. So what I thought was, let's put myself in the shoes of a recruiter, and I've been given a front-end developer role. That's a nice broad role. Everybody kind of knows what a front-end developer is. They code the front end of websites and they connect it to the back end and let the back end, people kind of do the databases and the coding and the scripting and all that stuff. And their job is to kind of make it look nice and clean and make the UX work and make things smooth and make sure all the errors are taken care of. That's what a front-end developer does. Of course, painting with that broad a brush, there's a million details in it. So what I did is I thought, what I think a great way for a recruiter to present themselves as a consultant, because that really is the challenge in my book, is that they just, instead of just saying, do you want fries with that, they should be able to say, I'm going to bring value to the table. Ultimately, that is what a consultant is there for. It's what they're paid for. They're there to bring expertise and value to the situation. When you hire any kind of consultant, that's what you should be expecting, and that's what you should be getting. Recruiting as a consultant should be no different. And even if you're in-house, you should think like a consultant. If I remember, I'm going to link an article I wrote about 5 or 6 years ago about how to think like a consultant. Very useful in this case. Anyway, that's an aside. Coming back to it. So in order to be more of a consultant, and of course you're burnt out, you're juggling so many plates and spinning so many juggling balls and mixing so many metaphors that you're going crazy. You don't have time to do all this stuff. So let's use AI to help make this better. How do we find a way to present yourself as a consultant, bringing value to the table without doing a lot of extra work, or any extra work, really? Once you do this once, this is the sort of thing that you can save and do on a regular basis. So here's what I did. I said, I went to ChatGPT using O3 model, which is to me, it's a better more of an in-depth thinker. Chat 4.0 is really good for grind this out for me, tell me what's going on, explain something to me. That's fantastic. But O3 is great for analyzing and thinking large bits of information. So what I did is I opened up O3 and I said, hey, I'm going to read this prompt word for word. I'm a recruiter. I mistyped it. I said, I'm a recruiter trying to hire a front-end developer for my hiring manager. My company is 500 people, and our products are in the B2B SaaS space. We're growing at a good rate, primarily focused in Houston. Okay. I'm creating context. I'm letting ChatGPT know this is the situation. So what I do is when I give them the actual request, they won't go looking at information in Detroit or China or wherever the heck. They're going to focus on a particular set of, based on the context, a specific area of focus. Okay, new paragraph. Yeah, you should think in paragraphs for prompts. It's not Google. I want to be able to help my hiring manager narrow down her focus on the right type of developer. Okay, unstated here is that there are a million front-end developers and they ain't all the same. What I'd like to do is, instead of saying, hey, hiring manager, do you like this one? No. Do you like this one? No. Do you like this one? No. Or send 10 over and see who they bite with. That's asking the hiring manager to do a whole lot of thinking and a whole lot of filtering. And they're going to look at me and go, why aren't you doing this? And of course, you can't, as the recruiter, do this because you don't have enough information. So here's how we're bridging the gap. What I'm saying is, let's present some worker types personas, and I'm never a big fan of the word personas, so I kind of couch that. But really, who are some types of people in this space so I can kind of narrow my focus? And I said, okay, ignoring specific tech requirements, or you could have actually listed the tech requirements, completely up to you. Based on what you know about front-end developers, can you identify 5 prevalent front-end developer types or personas? I will bring them to the hiring manager so that they can select the one they want, which will help me focus on finding, communicating with, and hiring the right one. Okay, you have effectively said, ChatGPT, go ahead and boil the ocean that is all front-end developers and talk to me about the types of front-end developers they are. And what came back was kind of insanely cool. It thought for a little bit and said, here are 5 distinct but commonly seen front-end developer personas. They're framed so your hiring manager can decide which flavor best fits the team's current goals and cultures, letting you target outreach, screening questions, and sell the role messaging for surgical precision. Are you not in love? Are you not in love? This was the setup for what it actually brought. The way it's completely understanding what I'm asking for. It is looking at all sorts of data. It doesn't have to be up to the second data. It is broad-based data because it's personas. I'm not asking it to find a person. I'm asking it to look at all the people and say, break it up into types. So the first one is pixel perfect UI craftsmen, what they love. Superpowers, turns Figma mockups into production grade components. Best deployed on brand sensitive products where visual consistency drives trust. They're motivated by a tight design dev feedback loop, design system ownership, and the mandate to sweat the details. Okay, that is a particular type of front end developer. And if you know a lot of front end developers, one of them, at least one of them popped in your mind when I described this person. They are a type of front end developer, which is great. Second, product-centric feature shipper. Superpower is translates lightly sketched ideas into working features, balances tech depth versus speed, values A/B tests and metrics. This is someone who is very focused on understanding the metrics. They're best deployed on growth experiments, new model launches, and minimal viable products that need real-world feedback. They're motivated by direct line of sight to the user impact. Same job title, very different person. And I got three more. I'll just give you one more. Let's see. How about this? Full stack friendly integrator. Here's the person who really can think and talk to the backend developer. Their superpower is bridges the FEBE front end backend gaps, writes maintainable front end while touching Node, Go, Python services, unblocks small teams. This is perfect. Again, unblock small teams. It's giving you, this is the person in these situations. These are great. So it also came up with a bunch of how to use these personas, and I'm not going to get into that because that's not useful yet. Because what you do with this is you grab these 5 and you copy it and you stick it in an email and say, hey, before I know we're hiring a front-end developer, before I go out to the market and start to find the right person, here are 5 types. Is there 1 or 2 of these that sound like the perfect fit? What's nice about this process is that you are not asking the hiring manager to explain front-end development to you and all the nitty-gritty details, which if you asked, they would give you 2 hours worth of information. 98% of it will go right over your head. Not a useful use of anybody's time, right? So instead, we're bridging the gap. We're saying, look, here are some types that I understand and languages I understand. Which are the ones you'd like me to focus on? Simple as that. And once you have it, once the hiring manager goes, oh, okay, yeah, that helps me narrow my focus, because we all know one of the biggest challenges we face as recruiters is bringing good talent to a hiring manager and having them say, I don't know if this is the right fit. Solve that problem up front. Make them understand this is our focal area. Make them make smart, thoughtful, hard choices early so that you can get rid of the thrash that happens down the road. And so like, I got these 4 candidates. They're all really good in very different ways. I don't know which one I want. No, get rid of that garbage. Get them to make smart decisions, tough decisions early on. Okay, so you kick that over to the hiring manager and they noodle on it for a couple of whatever, hours, minutes, days, whatever. And they kick it back to you and say, you know what we want? We want that first one. That's exactly the kind of person we want. First off, they now think you are so on the ball. They immediately see that you are bringing value to the table. You are not an order taker. You are asking for clarification in a form that they understand. And it really sounds like you understand all these different kinds of personas. You have elevated yourself and you look smarter and better and more valuable to boot, which, let's be fair, we all want that. Okay, then once you have that and it comes back, ChatGPT has some thoughts. I have some thoughts too, but we'll start with ChatGPT because, they're doing some pretty good work here. Ask your hiring manager which outcomes matters most. That's a good way of kind of filtering out and deciding which criteria matters. Choose the matching persona, and then you're going to start to tailor the job description and outreach. So here's what's going to happen. They pick one, and it comes with all this extra data around, sourcing cues, red flags if mishired, motivators, best deployed on superpowers, really kind of doing a decent job describing this person. What you do is you grab the job posting, you go back to Claude, or you go back to ChatGPT, and you dump them in and say, okay, here's the job posting, here is our brand document, and here is the kind of audience we are looking to reach. Based on everything I have just given you, please, 1, and you can give it a list. You can really do this really nicely. 1, rewrite the top 3 paragraphs of this job posting to appeal to this audience. So don't rewrite the everything necessarily. You could try, see what happens. It'd be really interesting. Or you could just have it right the top, right? The kind of sales brief, the boilerplate, the headline, stuff like that. Something that will get the right person's attention. 2, write 3 LinkedIn short email outreach messages that I can send to likely prospects so that target this job in this kind of model. So, right, don't talk to all hiring front-end developers. Talk to the one who is UI pixel perfect. They're going to have different challenges. They're going to have different languages. They're going to have different things they care about. And when you can focus on not all front-end developers, but this audience, this very particular audience, your message is going to be way more connected. It's going to resonate far more, which means your conversion rate will go way up, which, to be fair, was almost 0 to begin with, so it doesn't take too much to make it go up. But this will make it go up in a significant way. You will notice people will respond at a higher level. You can even ask it 3, what are some words or languages I should be searching for when trying to identify if the candidate or prospect in front of me meets this focal area, and have it just kind of spitball stuff. Now, do you just take this and run with it? No, you're a bright person. You are a very smart person, and you need to filter out. You need to make some judgment calls on what you're being given. Is this the right information? Is this good information? How does this all work? That's your job. We're not abdicating our responsibility and our work to the AI. We're simply saying, 1, help me look smart. 2, help me focus my efforts in the right audience so I'm not wasting my time, churning through candidates that are not the right person the hiring manager wants. 3, don't put me in a position that the hiring manager has to treat me like a baby and spoon feed me this information. It's not going to be useful. 4, help me communicate and identify the right people. This is just helping you focus your efforts so that you're not spending and more likely wasting time with the wrong people, with the wrong messages. There you go. Now, here's what I would do. Bake that first script into if you're in a Mac, it's a text replace, right? It's a quick key or whatever it is, or sticky key, whatever it is, where you type like a ampersand 7.2 and it goes, boom, there's the full prompt, just kind of spits the whole thing out because it's sitting in memory, and just change the details, the job title or whatever. Then grab that, throw the job posting in, and off you go. You can do this every single time. This is straightforward stuff. Imagine this is part of your process. Imagine this is part of every single job where you say, I'm hiring for X. I'm going to find the major personas for X. I'm going to ask the hiring manager which persona is the most interesting for them, and now I can focus. This will save you time, energy, and most importantly, heartache. And yes, recruiters have heartbreak all the time. I'm trying to save you from some of that stuff. So this is how I would use ChatGPT to solve the problem of, let's go back to the actual original problem. Oh, I can't find, there it is, of combating order taker perception. How do you bring value to the hiring manager without wasting everybody's time, without using up anybody's time, showing the value, making it crystal clear so that you look fantastic and you get to the hire that your company actually wants way faster and more efficiently. All right, so if that was useful, and I think it might have been, you got to tell someone. Them's the rules. I set them up at the beginning, so I'm not tricking you. This is just the agreement we have made. If this is useful stuff, you got to share it. Share it on LinkedIn, share it on Reddit, share it with your coworkers, share it with your people that you know in your network. I don't care. Just let people know. The way we are going to change recruiting and get everybody to understand that there are better tools and better ways to do things is by spreading the word on stuff like this. If this is useful stuff, remember, I got a talent strategy class at choosable.work/strategy. And if you're interested in employer brand, I can help you kind of either do the research very, very quickly, cost effectively, or build a strong brand in short order. I tend to focus on companies that are under 2,000 people, but I'm really more likely focusing on more agile companies who are looking to get work done fast. So if that's interesting, check out Employer Brand Labs. Otherwise, I will see you next week for another episode of The Next Step. If you've got a challenge you'd like solved on this show, just LinkedIn me, email me, leave me a voicemail, whatever it is, and I will see if I can make you the next subject of our next episode. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time.